Welcome to Jollof and Fiction, home of African literature and stories, the kind that warm your heart like a fresh pot of jollof. Today, you're tuning into a recorded session of our online book discussion, so sit back, relax, and join the conversation.
Good evening, everyone. You are welcome to our meeting for today. I hope you are doing well.
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Yes, I'm doing very well. So, my name is Sally. I'm from Ghana, and I will be moderating for today. So, I'll be putting a few pictures or a few posts into the WhatsApp group, and then we can have a look at it, and then we'll base our discussion on that. Okay, so our topic for today is around discipline in the African society, and what we consider to be discipline, whether discipline is being made look wrong, and where that whole notion is coming from. Is it coming from the Western culture, or is it us being truthful to our African culture? So our first question will be, did African societies genuinely discover problems within traditional parents? Their own practices only become seen as harmful after being measured against Western parenting ideals. So I'll put the question in the chat box, and please, if you want to contribute, please raise your hand so that I can call you out for you to give your contribution. Yes, so please, Barnabas, would you want to? Okay, yes, so if you are listening, Barnabas.
Okay, thank you very much, Sally, for the opportunity. So, I'd say that it's the advent of, I think it's more or less like when a lot of Africans realize, like in comparison, yes, in comparison to the Western standard of raising children, that a lot of Nigerians started stating out the fact that the corporal punishment was sort of extreme. But in my opinion, I'd say I don't want to go ahead of myself since there's a lot to discuss, but I say it's because it's basically primarily because we are comparing ourselves with the Western world. Do you understand? So that's my notion. I think this whole argument only sprang up because we started comparing ourselves with the Western world. Thank you.
So I have one interesting question from that side. So you see from the Twitter posts, they showed discipline as different instruments that are used to punish people, right? And I wanted to know, is the African idea of discipline only wrapped around infliction of pain? Yes, please, Mesoma.
Okay, good evening, everybody. So, I don't think we actually saw it as punishment before, right? Until the advent of the white, like getting exposure and seeing the white people and how they react to situations. Then it was a normal thing. You do something wrong, you are punished, whether it's slippers. Sometimes you even hear maybe mothers, the nearest thing to their hand, they'll just pick it up and use it to discipline you. But it was, as the times became clearer, days became clearer, and we can now see that okay, these things are having a kind of repercussion at the end of the day.
Okay, I don't know for everyone else, but I think your call was breaking right before you made your final point. So please, can you go over that?
Okay, what I was trying to say was that I don't think we saw it as punishment from the very beginning, right? It was more like discipline, a means to correct, a means to get each and everyone back on the right track. But as with the advent of social media, with us being exposed, we can now see that those measures that they tried to use to discipline was in a way, or is in a way, harmful, and they have like lasting repercussion at the end of the day.
All right, thank you very much for your submission. Please, Moku Timbasi, please let's listen to you.
Hi guys. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, please, we can hear you.
Okay, I just want to say that our parents were abusive. That's what I want to say. So the concept of, oh, we didn't know this before, we're just adopting the West guys. No, our parents were abusive because their parents abused them because their own parents abused them. And I generally, because I have seen family dynamics, actual African family dynamics, where corrections did not look like the actual sleeping, beating your child to an age of their lives in this African society still. So if your parents push you to the point where you bled, you fainted, when you're narrating it to your friends, you guys are laughing at the coping mechanism, your parents, and I put it to you, was abusive and was an abuser. So yeah, happened to me too. So the whole society. Thank you.
Wow, strong submission there. Please, Brown, let's listen to you.
Okay. I know this doesn't necessarily answer the question, but I just wanted to point out corporal punishment isn't exactly an African thing alone. For most cultures, some version of corporal punishment, Western culture to even India, it's not exactly an African thing. It feels like, okay, so where's the average go? Did we start noticing it because we're comparing ourselves to the Western? I think two things can be true at the same time. I think we looked at the West and we also looked at the effects or not, whether actually useful in the long run or whether it causes more damage. I just want to point.
Okay, that's very interesting. Please, Barnabas.
Okay, my point is to Moku. I just want to be clear. You're saying that corporal punishment done by a parent was abuse. I am of the opinion that it was necessary, but then some parents took it to the extreme. Do you understand? I've seen cases where the parent beats the child passes out. Do you understand? And I feel those are the extreme cases because there should be as much as we say, okay, we should do this, there should be a limit to it. And there's this proverb in our dialect that the mother's hand cannot, I don't know, that's how they put it, but a mother who truly cares for you, there's a limit, she will know how to love you. There are some venting generational parents down on you, but then there are some that are very, so my point is that I get your point and understand the way you generalize it as though everyone was abusive. I'm saying that my parents, for instance, they were not abusive, but then I received a lot of spanking. But I'm just saying that not every parent takes it to the extreme. That's basically my point. And just maybe you didn't specify, but your notion made it look as though that did you or did you? I'm trying to remember. It just crossed my mind.
I said that if your parents
Okay.
in each of your life, like
Okay.
yeah,
Sorry, probably I didn't get that part, but I just wanted to be clear that you're not generalizing it. Thank you. I'm okay now. Thank you, Sadi.
All right. So, with what you are saying, right? When they discuss the sample that we're giving to look at, right? People were saying that, oh, we were beaten as children and we still turned out fine. So the next question is, if many adults who were beaten claim that we turned out fine. Does survival justify the methods being used on the kids? So the methods that were used that Mokut is calling abusive, are they justified by the fact that the kids turned out right? Okay, Light, please, we are listening.
Hello. I want to say it's colloquial because how do you know you turned out fine? What is your response in all the years since you've grown up? What is your response you shouldn't have done now that you're grown? I want you to think about it. That's on the one hand. Then, secondly, if you've turned out fine and you know you've turned out fine, and the way you prove that you've turned out fine is to hit somebody who's making a mistake you made, maybe when you were younger, and you know how you felt when you were beaten, and your response is to beat somebody else, have you really turned out fine? Or are we just peddling? Is it peddling? Emotional trauma? Because when people talk about corporal punishment and the hitting and the beating, I do not, well, I cannot speak for everybody. And I understand that there are parents who probably know the thresholds for their children's pain. But I have two questions. First of all, if somebody is too young to know the right thing to do, why beat them? And if they are old enough to know the right thing to do, why beat them? This is my own take, right? I feel like nobody turns out fine if they've been emotionally and physically abused, because sometimes corporal punishment is not only the cane and the things you're throwing, sometimes it's the words that are being thrown out. You claim to love me and care for me, but the things you're saying, see your eyes, they are red, see your hands, I'm your child. Okay, I'm going to stop here.
That sounded like poetry. Please, Brown, we are listening to you.
Like I said, everything that was in my heart to speak. What I just wanted to say is that who told you we turned out fine? I did turn out fine. I can just tell you, see yourself. Like, unless you can't speak for everybody, me, I can speak for myself. I did turn out fine. I got a lot of trauma. A lot of trauma. A lot of trauma from the way my dad handled me. And so I can tell you for free that most people did not turn out right. You can see it in how they act. You can see it in a lot of things that they do, how they treat other people. They are big to get angry rather than seeking to resolve issues. You can see it in a lot of the fights that you see on the street. They don't turn out fine. So that's the real question. If they do turn out fine, I seriously doubt that they did. I feel like there are more effective ways to affect these people. You could find more ways to make a child understand the consequences of their actions, good or bad. To reward systems and different forms of punishment systems to be a lot more effective than empowering their children. Those are just my thoughts.
All right, thank you. I agree that there are more effective ways of correction. And please, Anita, we are listening to you.
Okay, hi everyone. Good evening. Am I
Good
audible?
evening. We can hear you.
Thank you. So first of all, Light and Ini Brown have already made this first point, right? Whenever people in Nigeria specifically say, "Oh, they beat me and I turned out fine," it either pisses me off or amuses me because, first of all, a lot of us are not self-aware, right? We're not aware of what's going on within our own selves, and few Nigerians or few adults in Africa have like emotional regulation ability. Like they cannot self-regulate their own emotions because you are upset and now everybody around you is walking on eggshells. And if you trace this back, it's going back to all this trauma that was inflicted on you because for the slightest thing, you would get the most insane punishment. It does not make sense. So you don't even know how to like relate consequence and what you've actually done. So it doesn't make sense. But let's assume that some mythical person actually turned out fine in all the face of these beatings and corporal punishment that we received. I don't think it justifies going on with corporal punishment because it's like this person is an oddity. The person is rare, right? It's not something that you can say works for a mass number of people, first off. Secondly, corporal punishment, how to determine the extent like punishment is kind of arbitrary. There's no
set rule that, okay, this person breaks a cup, this is the punishment you give. So it mostly depends on the person who is meting out the punishment, depending on how angry they are. And people can definitely go to the extreme in these cases. So you should not say that corporal punishment should continue because this one person turned out fine. I don't believe in it. Thank you.
That's interesting. So when it comes to something like corporal punishment, right? I believe that there are some times that it can be quantified. I don't want to be a devil's advocate, but then there are some times that maybe in class you do something wrong and they're like, oh, this one warrants 2 lashes, this one warrants 3 lashes, and then there's only like an extreme of 6 lashes when you do something extremely bad. I don't know if that's anyone else's experience, but then let me just pass it on to Samuel. Samuel, please, we are listening to you.
Okay, good evening, everyone, and thank you very much for the opportunity. So, before I go on to say what I want to say, I would like to disagree a little bit with what Anita said about she say when she hears people saying, "Oh, they turned out fine, punished," she gets pissed off. I don't think it should be something that pisses you off because if someone tells you, "I became this because of this," you don't get to decide whether tell you this is my experience, this is my experience. Because if I'm supposed to look at my life, like I'm honestly growing up, I was that kind of things. But one thing that was very common was like I was curious in destroying things. I see if maybe I come to the place, I see a plate on the table, and my mind goes like, okay, if I drop this plate, is it going to break like maybe the last one, this and this? And I'm just destroying things. And during that time, I remember you said, okay, we're not self-aware. Yes, we're not self-aware, but I'm destroying things, not thinking about, okay, how does it affect the people around me and all that kind of stuff. But at least 1, 2, 3 punishments, I see that thing. My curiosity is there, but I'm also thinking, okay, who is it going to affect? Am I going to get punished for it? It's not trauma. It's seeing myself today. No matter how curious I am about something, I'm also thinking about, okay, if I do it and it goes wrong, who's going to get affected by it? So we should also understand that we cannot raise everybody the same way. Some people actually deserve it. Like, let's just be honest. There are some kids you tell them stop, they stop. There are some kids you tell them like, unless it's on their eyes, they are not stopping. And you cannot and knowing how to deal with the person. With some people, sometimes there has to be a little bit of like, certain things applied. Everybody is different. So in certain cases, I don't see it as abuse. I think it's necessary, but in other extreme cases, yeah, it can be abuse. So the justification on it is supposed to be dependent, or let's say in case of the house, it's supposed to be the parent. The mom knows their child better. If you come and you see a mom punishing their child in a particular way, trust me, you don't feed the child. You didn't bring the child to the world. You can't love the child more than the mother. So if the mom thinks that, okay, this is the best way to discipline the child, it should be allowed. Although it might look extreme, but you just don't know. So that's basically what I would say about it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Please promise your submission.
Hi everyone. So the question is on if with the claim that they turned out fine, if that justifies the method. My answer is no. I I hear a lot of saying that spare the rod, spoil the child, but I choose not to think that spare the rod only has to do with beating a child with an actual rod, right? So I do not believe that we turned out fine. I believe that it made us very compliant, especially within the African society. We're a lot less explorative of things, of adventures. We're a lot more careful because we now have the idea that when you make an action, you have a repercussion, and you cannot express yourself to your parents because you always feel like, oh, they could get mad, they could get angry. So there's always that timidity to the way that we engage with people as individuals, and it kills or deadens our creativity, explorative nature, and our ability to speak up. So I do not believe that we turned out fine. You might say that compliance is a good thing to have, but it's good to have for like an organization or to work with people. It's not good to have as an independent person who wants to think on your own and for yourself. So I do not believe that the corporal punishment was a good or justifiable way. I believe that our parents used that because they had so many ways. They were not equipped. They were not well equipped with how they could handle children. And I know that children sometimes can be a lot of different things. There are a lot of different natures and peculiarities of children. But our parents also were not ready, or they were not at that point where they could handle all of those emotions. So the fastest way was through corporal punishment, but it was definitely not the best way to go around things. So that's what I have to say about that.
All right. I'm seeing a lot of hands raised, and I think I would let Anita speak, and then after that, we'll read the next question, and I'll move on to Light and Mokut. Okay. So please, Anita.
Oh, sorry, my hand was too raised from the last time. It wasn't to speak again.
Okay. Okay. Then please, Mokut, let's listen to you.
Thanks so much. So, that's not the question. I genuinely don't think that, I think we cope as like individuals in a society. We cope. We adjust to things because of corporal punishment. We concede and we just attribute things to every single thing having like a consequence. And as Promise said, it makes us timid and less explorative. Case in point, you just think there's you're having a conversation with your mom, right? And as a child whose parents inflicts corporal punishment on them, you're genuinely just having a conversation with your mom and you want to say something. And the next thought that passes through your head is, let me just close my mouth before they break my head. That's not normal. And we genuinely all like, I feel like this is a shared experience. I feel like almost like most of us, I don't want to say all of us, generally have thought, let me still sit down here before they go and break my head, or you better sit down before they give you one slap. That's time. Bro, do you see how abnormal that is? Or that sounds like, to even think or say. Like, it's not normal. You think you're normal, but you're not. And then the next thing, your child speaks up in public. Like, okay, let me paint a picture. You guys are you're grown, you have children, and you like to be a corporal punisher, and then your friends are there, you're having a conversation, and then your child speaks up, and the next thing you're giving your child a dirty slap, like, so that the child will learn to not speak when adults are speaking. Doesn't make sense. No. And then your child grows up and thinks, oh hey, this is really cool to do. It doesn't make sense. Nobody turns out fine, in my opinion. You just cope.
All right, I understand that, and the thing is, some people are well behaved because of the kind of punishment that was meted out to them, but then some people also do not know how to cope because they were never in spaces where discipline was enforced. And our next question is, are African parents truly raising children based on the child's emotional needs, or according to what the society demands a well-raised child to be? So what are we basing the rules by which we raise our children on? Is it by what they need emotionally to be full individuals, or by what the society needs? Please, Barnabas.
Okay, I think I strongly agree with Mokus. It's mostly how the society thinks, or what they say of my, like this instance Moku painted. I don't know. Can you guys hear me? Sorry.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. This instance Moku painted just now, where it has happened, and a lot of Nigerians can relate to this. You're in public and your parents are speaking, and then just as if nobody tells you to not speak up. Okay? And I'm not thinking there could have been a better way to let you know that you don't speak when adults are. Do you understand? And also, I agree with Promise when he said some Africans, I don't think they knew other ways to discipline a child other than the corporal punishment. And something that has been passed on. And that's why I like conversations like this, because I believe we are the next. And so whatever we arrive at this night will determine what we carry on to the next generation. So I think a lot of times African parents are conscious of society, what they think. And instead of raising a child according to what the child needs emotionally, they let society co-parent the child. So like, what would they say about my child? When your child is outspoken, somebody is talking back, and then your child speaks up to a stranger, like, don't talk like that. I'm like, but he is defending himself. He's teaching. So over time, he raised the child. He now puts forth. Oh God, there's so much in my head now because I've had experiences. But then I'd just like to hear from everyone. Thank you very much.
That's fine. And sorry, I'm using corporal punishment and discipline interchangeably. I'll stick to the corporal punishment. Please, Light, let's hear from you.
Okay, so if I heard the question correctly, you asked if African parents are truly raising their children based on the child's emotional needs or based on what society demands a well-raised child should be, right?
Exactly.
Okay, I think that honestly, in today's world, and I don't exactly mean when I was younger, I mean today, I think it's a blend of both. I think that parenting traditions generally have been shaped by what the society expects and maybe how you were raised as well. And more recently, the kind of child you have. If you have a special needs child, regardless of anything, chances are you're going to be a lot more sensitive to what your child needs. And here I mean that you're not going to do a lot of comparison to other children who may not have special needs, but then this is a special case anyway. But generally, I think that children are raised based on who their parents are. So it's always what's what I'm looking for that. It's always subject to the kind of person who's raising you. Chances are, if you have a sensitive parent, some people are more sensitive than others. So yes, why the societal needs of the demands of a child, like etiquette, which is very important, must be met. You discover that even what etiquette is very different from household to household. For some houses, they believe that, oh, you must go out and get it all. Some households believe that, violence is okay. It's okay to beat somebody up to get what you want because you must always get what you want. Some houses eschew violence in any form. And so if you're disciplining your child based on your personal beliefs, I'm not just talking about society here, your personal beliefs also come into play. It's why some people would maybe more forceful when disciplining their children because probably their personal values are if you don't stand up for yourself, other people are going to take your place, beat you up, whatever. And so it also plays a role in what kind of children you raise. So if you're asking if African parents raise their children based on the child's emotional needs or based on what society demands, I think it's a blend of many things. Societal demands, maybe the child's emotional needs, and especially the parent's idea of the world, how the parent understands the world, determine what kind of children they will raise. Thank you.
You're welcome. Please, Lambent, we are listening to you.
Thank you. I would say no. Most African parents do not raise children based on the child's emotional needs. They raise the child mostly according to what society demands in their definition of a well-raised child. And we can see it boil back down to everything, even to course of study. What does society demand that someone should study to be prestigious and respected? They couldn't care less that you have a talent for drawing or that you have a charm and an aura that seems to appeal to people and make them more cozy around you. So, okay, how about psychology? They couldn't care less. Medicine, law, this, that. I have a dear friend who the father has 7 kids, all the 7 kids, medicine, or he's not paying for your education. I've had a lot of people speak and I joined the call late, but I think that a lot of us are being very, very subtle and sugarcoating. Did we all come from the typical African home? I'm sorry, we're being very gentle. What is all this euphemism? These guys are brutal. Emotions where? Emotions how? I think the first day I saw my period, they were like, "Can you find a messy file? What are you doing like that? Come and get up." You could emotions, what you're going through in a typical African home. I think you guys are being very nice. Emotions are rarely paid attention to. How you're feeling, how you're metamorphosing as a child into an adolescent, into a teenager, the various life forms and the degree of, do you know how much work it takes to develop into a well-rounded human being? I dare say 90% of Nigerians are not okay. They think they are. It takes a lot of work to invest and pour into someone, to take them step by step through every journey of life, so that they don't grow up and see something extremely traumatizing as normal. So that somebody doesn't show up one day and says, "What's your problem? All our mothers give birth at home. Why are women whining?" Sometimes you listen to people talk and you can tell that something is wrong. Your your holistic nature as a human being is very, very stunted. You didn't grow up right, and you can see that in a lot of people. A lot of African parents want their child to be accepted. They couldn't care less what you want. They want to be able to brag with you and compete with their fellow millennial and boomer friends when they are talking about children. What what you're truly inclined to, they could care less. So we shouldn't. There's a lot of euphemism going on, and I really appreciate the diplomacy because this is going on air. But if your parents were paying attention to your emotional needs and actually gentle when they needed to be, you were the absolute exception. I'm talking about the 1% of the 1%. Thank you.
You're welcome. That was a very strong submission there. Please, Chow Bean, we are listening to you.
Ciao, Bien. And yes, good evening.
Sorry.
So I think I already typed what I wanted to say, but let me still add on that. So most of our parents didn't grow up in a society where their psychological needs or their mental health was considered. They all just wanted to provide the basic stuff, food, um, shelter, and they feel like, okay, so since you already have all those things, who cares about your emotions? That's why they could tell boys not to cry. Oh, you are a man, don't let anybody see your tears because you're a man, don't show emotions, so they they only showed us love the best way they know how to. So that is all I have to contribute. I don't know if I answered the question in any way, but yeah, that was what I wanted to say.
Yes, I understand. So they gave us the best possible of what they knew. Please, we are listening to Mesoma next.
Oh, okay. So, um, most of what I wanted to say anyway has been touched on, right? But I still want to add, where parents are concerned, if I where African parents are concerned, just know that it's a military regime. Yes, because they are training soldiers that are about to go to war. And which war? We don't know. But then, like Charlie said, you can't really blame them because they are sending in, they are passing on what they know. Earlier this year, I had a conversation with my uncles because I was very upset with my mom, and I was just lamenting and lamenting and lamenting. And then they just said something that stuck. They were like, I won't really blame her because she was closer to my grandma, right, than they were, and they are guys. So definitely, if they lock me in the house every day, my brothers have some kind of, should I say, it's not leverage. They have some kind of, whether, or I don't even know the word to use. In fact, they can go out if they want to go out. But me now, I cannot go out because maybe they are thinking this is my only daughter, blah blah blah. But then my uncles, they just said that because my mom was like more to her mom, that's my grandma. You see that is the way my grandma trained her, the hand that is and trained her, that she abused to come and train me. You have not come and train Gen Z that is outside. Every day I want to come and be dragging. No, I don't want to. So instead of exchanging words or doing anything, you just see that I just close mouth and agree with whatever she wants to say. At the end of the day, we are just collecting. We are just collecting because we probably don't know how to express that. The day that I tried having a conversation with my mom, her face alone pursued me because she was already judging before I was done. Tomorrow, I don't want judgment, so I'll just avoid it. At the end of the day, is what will society say? What will this one? Or you with everything that is happening, you want to say, okay, say, what will people say when it's my own life? What have I said? Everything I've said, you didn't hear it. You want to hear what I'm gonna say. At the end of the day, society that they are doing it for, because it's not for the individual.
All right, thank you. So they are training us up to be a better fit for the society and not to be too much of ourselves as individuals. So the only hand I'm seeing up currently is Marcia. So Marcia, please, we are listening to you before the next question.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I also agree that African parents are training us for the society more than caring about our emotions. And basically, in Africa, we are a collectivist society, right? We are not, as compared to the Western world where they are individualistic. They focus on personal development, independence, self-expression, and all that. With African society, we are all for obedience, respect, bow down, because we follow the basically authority, right? So our African parents are also training us to be obedient. That's the core of it. And it also connects to the punishment, the corporal punishment. It's not mostly out of love. It's mostly so that you would be obedient enough to listen to people in authority, because obey, no complaints, nothing else, just obey what they are telling you to obey and then follow the rules. So no one really cares about your emotions, because obviously if they care about your emotions, then they care about your personal development, and that is not what our society is about. It's basically about just obeying everybody until you reach the top, and then you are also going to tell somebody to obey you because that's what you were taught. So African parents hardly ever care about our emotional needs, and they are always just preparing us for society, because society shames parents when their children don't turn out right. Nobody wants a child who would do something and tarnish their image. It's always about the image of the African parents, and not why did my child even do what they did, right? Because when they don't really care about your personal development, then they don't usually even know that you have your psychological needs, you have your physical needs, you have your emotional needs, you have your physiological needs, you have your safety needs, about Maslow, all that. All they care about is the physical needs that they can provide. And once they are done providing that, you don't really need all those needs to survive, basically. Obviously, you don't need those needs to survive. So you can still survive if you don't take care of your emotional needs or your physiological needs or your psychological needs. So nobody would give, sorry for the word, a fuck about how you feel, how things said to you, or how the constant punishments made you feel. Because the constant punishments brings fear, it brings anxiety, it makes you very timid. You hardly ever speak in public because you are consciously aware of punishment. Even when somebody might not punish you when you speak about it or speak about something that you want to express yourself, maybe there's what do you call it, an argument going on, maybe you're in the office and then your boss is saying something and you're like, hey, am I going to speak? Because my boss might punish me, my boss might take me to HR, this, that. So we just grow up focusing on our physical needs. And I agree with some people when they said because of that, we are not holistic as human beings. We are only ever saying, oh, I turn out right because obviously I have a good paying job, I have a house, I have a car. I mean, I'm providing for myself, so obviously I am fine. But you are not, because as a human being, you don't just have your physical needs. You have to reach well up to self-actualization, actually, according to Maslow. So you don't just. But African parents are not even schooled. They are not taught that, oh, human beings are not just made up of physical needs, not just the clothes, the shoes, the bags, or giving them the roof over their heads. What you say to them has repercussions: verbal abuse, physical abuse. Just because I did something wrong doesn't mean you should hit me, because after hitting me, what are my thought processes? You could have just corrected me, told me, no, don't put that here, put that there, so that I don't break something, right? But once you break something, you are hit constantly over and over again. Some children become numb to it, and it causes some negative behaviors out of the kids. So you think your child is stubborn, but they've just gotten numb to the beatings, and that just causes the child not to listen to you again. Some children just become pathological liars, because obviously if you go tell your mom something, they are going to create a whole scene, and you don't want that scene, so you'd rather lie, do what you want to do, all that. So yeah, I feel like as African children, we have a lot to unpack, and a lot of people don't like to talk about it, or don't like to say it, because it makes it look like your parent was a bad parent. But it's not about being a bad parent, because they didn't even know some of the things they were doing was wrong, or that it doesn't help the development of the child. So
All right. All
the
right.
first
Thank you very much,
okay,
Marcia.
okay, yeah,
Sorry to cut in the time.
yeah,
We are quite short
okay,
on time.
okay, yeah, it's
Okay.
fine.
Thank you very much. Promise, please.
Hi, thank you very much. So I will be quick. Yeah. So I at first I had the same opinion that our parents were raising us for society, but the more that I tried to fit all the different scenarios, the more that it couldn't fit. I definitely agree that they do not raise us considering our emotional needs at least on average. Their parents that do very well, like Light said, based on their personalities, but on average, emotional needs are not the consideration. But at the same time, for the societal demands, I think that's more for female children and in respect to marriage and finding a life partner. But on an average, I think that they raise us more likely due to their fears and to their own needs and societal demands, or for society to say that they have raised good children, is just one of the fears that they have. For society not to say, oh, the child that you raised is terrible. So they have other fears and other needs. Poverty might be a fear that they use in raising us, for where Teida says, they say go and read medicine. It might not really be for societal demands. It might just be they want to see you do better. Maybe they didn't do better in their own time, and so in their own correction of the things that they think they did wrong, they take it to an extreme, yeah, in order to correct that. And so a lot of parents raise children from a point of, I do not want to fail at this, and it turns out very badly for the child, because they're not considering all of the different aspects and the uniqueness of the child's journey in comparison to theirs. And so I think that's more the issue than for societal demand, because there's so many other instances where parents do things that do not make sense, and even the society will be like, okay, why? But they have their own experience, their own unique journey that forms how they approach child raising. Thank you.
Okay, since the question is in the chat box and Promise just spoke last, let's start with the healer.
Thank you. I'll be very quick. I just want to say I love all the questions that are being asked, and I would be so grateful if we can have a 2.0 next week. This discourse is very wide. I would say that the governments, if the African governments can also, do what the Western world do in terms of CPS and all, interfering in parents. I don't even know what to say. This thing is going on air. The same government too are parents too to people, and they have their own score too. The people that don't interfere, if they interfere, I'm not sure what to say. I don't even trust they have the right values by which to judge and interfere. They too are parents, and they too did a horrible job, most of them in their own family. You can see all the politicians' children. So I don't know who will interfere now that can help matters. Because government, which of them the people, if you create a team, Africa is so wonderful. If you create a team of interferers, a child can give them bribe and they will arrest the parent in charge of the child. Somebody can come and they will say that my neighbor is the person that beat this child, not me. Africa is so interesting. So I don't think it's safe for now until we get our mental health right. Everybody gets everything right in their upstairs.
Right, thank you very, thank you very much, Tina. I was about saying the same thing that we can't trust the government to raise children now. Please, let's face other matters first. Um, Brown, let's hear from after Brown. Promise, then Calvin.
Those are my exact thoughts. See, I don't know which governments are referring to, which African governments, because I don't know, maybe it's better in Ghana, we have some people here from Ghana, maybe it's better, but the Nigerian government saying, let me not go to, for this is going to be public, I don't like expecting the good man to have any influence in this podcast. But yeah, I don't trust any government in this certain country to handle children. See, we're still dealing with mindsets that are driven by bags and rights and whatnot. So let's just not take that. Just sounds like a bad idea. For now, at least for now. Thank you very much.
Okay, so let's hear Promise. Hope she's the exception. Who else thinks? Okay, let's hear Promise.
Okay, so I think that in this sense, we cannot or should not copy the Western way of raising children. So they are very individualistic for child raising, and so it makes sense that government should step in that society. But here, I think we're more of a community, even though the community is slowly breaking, but we're still a community to that large extent. And child raising is still done by more than just the family members. I would not trust okay, I would not say that government should come in. They have a lot of things that they haven't fixed yet. This I read an article recently that where they're talking about, adoption rates is getting lower in this was particularly for Nigeria anyway, that was getting lower, and there were no new babies anymore coming into the adoption home. And that's just because of a lot of stories that had happened prior to that time. So, no, government should not take over, but I think we need to make better our community approach to child raising, especially now that we're becoming a global society and people are moving. So, how do we make that? How do we not adopt, change that to fit our current reality? Thank you.
Thank you, Promise. Thank you very much. Calvin, let's hear from you.
Okay, thank you very much. So, first of all, we need to understand that the purpose of education or for any society is so that people that can create a conducive environment, people citizens. The school is supposed to be there. It's an institution. It's supposed to build. It's supposed to be a place where people go and get trained so that they can be um better people in the society. So if the government are not involved in child raising, it would be very, very detrimental. The curriculum itself is supposed to be made up of um what societal needs. Societal needs are supposed to be considered in creating the curriculum of every country, right? So the government has to be heavily involved in these things. They have to know, okay, what are the areas that we need to come in? What are the areas that we need to work on? What are the things that need to be tackled? But then we belong to a society where they don't value education. Basically, they don't value education, and so we have a lot of wrongs going on, right? So the government needs to be involved. They have to create avenue. They have to create an avenue for people to, for teachers to even get trained before the school itself is made a better place. We need to have a better school system, and we need to make sure that the home itself, the home is the primary unit for which a child starts growing. Charity begins at home. You have to train your child to be a better person before you even take them to school. So we need to have better parents. We also need the government to intervene. We need experts, psychologists, philosophers. They need to all come together, create a better curriculum. We need to have a working curriculum that is going to make us have a better country or a better community. Yeah, that is what I wanted to say.
Thank you. The Calvin, sorry, but I just want to say that this thing you're saying would work when government structures are set in place. The way you're putting it down makes it look as though they can just go into action now. I don't want them to go into action now. They should face other things first. Yeah, they're like,
Kabi, I'm so sorry. It's like you are from Ghana, right?
so,
Oh
so,
no, I'm from Nigeria.
so,
Just to say precisely.
sorry, because the way you're saying it, as though you don't know what's going on right
You
now.
get
That's why I asked. You're saying as though you know what's going on right now. Bro, I can't trust the government. And any
I'm being optimistic. I'm
the
being
money,
we
the
are
optimistic.
money
fair.
for
Sorry.
the gala for the children. The money, the first person that will eat is the professor you're talking about. He will finish the children's gala.
All right, okay. So the next question, the last question, please. I'm sending it to the chat box now. I just remember this is going on there. So, can African parenting preserve authority, discipline, and communal values without relying on fear, shame, or physical punishment? Or is this strict violence inseparable for traditional upbringing? So, here's where we can prefer better solutions to raising a child or something like that. So, let's hear your thoughts now. We've all talked down on the corporal punishment and how it could be better. So, let's hear your point of view now. Say a child misbehaves, how well can you treat that child? What are the measures you can take if you say, okay, the way our parents raised us was bad, then what are the better ways? Now, let us hear it. Thank you.
I'll be very, very brief, please. I would like to say that the first way is to make peace within themselves. Okay, is there any backlog as an individual? Is there any backlog that can affect my child? Maybe I currently work in an organization, a customer does something very minute, I'm so pissed off, and then I lose my cool. So if I have such tendencies, isn't that already a projection to the kind of parent I would be? So honest conversation, a step back, look within, check how this and this and this in my life. Okay, currently some people unfortunately could have dads that were drunks, sadly. So as a single person or before children came along after marriage, you find that you're drinking alcohol. Can't you already foresee the future and see that this is going to be very telling on your kids? So I would say in order to have better, just healthier parents or healthier upbringing of children, then let's have healthier parents. Let's any scheme or anything to try to invest in the minds of parents, I don't know, adults, just to make them better, because most of the things we see is actually personal projections, exactly as Promise said. I don't know, fears, their own failure past. So it's an individual. Someone said fools grow old too, but that is in no relation to our parents. It's just a statement. So when you see someone, maybe they became a president, or they became a pastor, or a clergyman, or an imam, whoever you knew them to be is the same person that became a clergy. Immediately a title came upon him, title of parent, title of mayor. That title didn't come with automatic wholeness. It's the same person that grew up to be an adult. It's the same person that grew up to have children. The same colleague that argues with you, that pisses you the hell off at work, that just flinches over every little thing, is the same colleague that now has a baby. What kind of mom do you think that your colleague, did she automatically change? So let us work on ourselves, and then let our parents, any way to reach out to them, to just help them, anything they are going through, just be better people. So a better person, it will really help to be a better parent. Thank you.
Calvin, I think you should go.
Oh, okay. So, first of all, for you to even be a parent, you should be ready. Don't go and give birth to a child because society demands that you do. And if you are going to be ready, you would know that, oh, there are steps to being a parent. It's not that you just be a mother or a father to this child. You have to know that you have to intentionally raise that child. You have to be aware of their needs, psychological, physiological needs, and everything. And you have to know that they are not just tools, they are human beings that you are raising with emotions. And so whatever you put into them is what they will grow up to become. So if you have that intentionality in mind, it will guide how you are going to raise your children. You would know that corporal punishment is not a thing. It's just going to just instill fear in them. It's just going to make them to be scared. They will even grow up to be people who allow people to override them. They will allow people to make them pushovers. But then if you intentionally raise your kids, you'd raise them to be people who are confident in themselves, confident in their abilities, and that will happen if you yourself are self-conscious. So you have to treat your own wounds before you go on to become a parent. Thank you.
Sorry, can you guys hear me now? My network went off. Who has not spoken? Promise you have not spoken. Go ahead and speak. Then Mokut, and we'll round up with Marcia. That'll be the end.
Okay, thank you. Both speakers, Taylor and Chobin, have spoken to what I want to say, but I just want to put a little more details to it. It's cool to say that parents are ready. So I think that people should get married at when their frontal lobe has fully developed, right? I don't believe that children make good parents, and I feel like people under the age of 21 are kids, and I do not believe that they make good parents. This is a personal opinion. Now, I also believe that the way that people read to pass exams, sure parents should read. The way that people read to exam to is the same way that people should read about child psychology. And I know it's not necessary trait, yeah, but I believe that there are things that they could also ask questions so that before they have children, go for counseling, test your patience. So when we say corporal punishment, it's like as if children are just bad people. They are stressed human beings. Some parents, at least, and on average, some people should read books on child raising before they ever go into that venture. I believe that people should also take care of their health, physical health, mental health, so in every way, basically complete health, right? So that they are ready physically to also take care of a child. I believe that if you want to have a child, it is a training for yourself as a human being before you go into child raising. And now, for when the child has come, this is all before a child comes into play. When a child has come into play, I think it's good to study them. I do not believe in corporal punishment, but I do believe that discipline is necessary for raising children. I'm not talking about the part where you tell a child to turn and face the wall and time out. All of those things do not have any psychological effect on the child. But when a child, especially depending on the age of the child, right, if they're very small, please, you just have to manage their emotions. If they're going to an extent, then they should have punishments for their actions, not pick pain and all of those things that inflict physical pain. But if you do something, there's a repercussion for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Promise. I think that in subsequent reviews we'll have time to unpack a lot of what you said. There's so much insight in what you said and so much gold in what you said. Hopefully, with time we'll have time to unpack. Mokut, let's hear from you then, Marcia. Thank you, Promise.
Okay, so I just want to say that what when as human beings, think like if you think that hitting a fellow adult is wrong, then I think you should also think that hitting a child is even much worse because they have lesser self-defense, they can't defend themselves, you're basically like picking on someone lesser than your size. And if you think that hitting an adult is wrong, then you should also extend the same grace to children because they are children. And children become what you make them. Obviously, if you consistently tell a child that the child is bad, if you consistently paint or provide an environment for the child to believe that he is bad, that's how the child will come out. And
You should try to like nurture your children how you want to see your children. And you can do that without inflicting pain on the child, because this child cannot defend themselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret. I really appreciate your feedback. Marcia, let's hear from you in 2 minutes. Then we'll call it a night.
Yeah, so basically, I agree with everything everyone has said. As if you want to become a parent, first of all, in Africa, most people just want to be parents for the sake of being parents. They've been told you were brought into this world to have kids, so just have kids. But a child is a whole human being, and it takes a lot of responsibility. You have to be emotionally intelligent, you have to have self-discipline, and you have to be financially stable. A lot of people give birth to children in poverty, and 4, 5, 6 children. It's wrong. And you have to have the character of adaptability, because as a parent, even if you read all the child psychology books, there will be times when that book can't help you. The child will do something really crazy and you'll be like, hey, Akolawe, right? So you have to have adaptability. Sometimes you have to learn on the job. Your child will test you. You have to learn on the job. That's when your emotional intelligence comes in. The child does something. Are you just going to react, or are you going to first sit down, think about it, even know why the child did what the child did before you go into, talk about it, met your punishment out, whatever it is. And you also have to be accountable. You, the parent, needs to hold yourself accountable. If you do something wrong to your child, say something you are not supposed to say to your child, apologize to that child, because the child is as human as you are. Even if the child is 5 years old, it builds trust. It helps the child to be safe around you. Mommy will listen to whatever I say. Daddy is going to listen to whatever I say. You will be angry at what the child did, but is the child still going to be safe around you? That's all. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. I believe if we had enough time, we'd still not fully unpack this theme for tonight. You can continue the conversation in the chat, in WhatsApp chat. So that'll be all for tonight. I'm sorry we short our time by 8 minutes. I'm really sorry about that. It's just that we are not properly structured and started. Thank you so much for joining me. And have a wonderful night. Bye.
Don't forget to hit the follow button and tap on the notification icon to stay updated. That's all for today's episode. To join our book club or stay updated on future discussions, follow us on Instagram and X at Jollof Book Club, Jollof with a double F. And thank you so much for listening.